Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is TishaTheBrave. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing okay. Before we get into the video, I would just like to remind you I have a Patreon account. If you guys are into numerology, I actually have a weekly numerology forecast and weekly moon cycle forecast on my Patreon, and only my Patreon supporters will be able to see that every single Monday. So don't forget to check me out on there. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Today I'm here to talk about the life path 8, and I like to nickname the life path 8 the money maker. Okay, the money maker. You guys are definitely people who attract money very easily. The main purpose of who you are is to build financial abundance and to take control of situations and use your authority to help others in a balanced way. Okay, the reason I wrote down balance is because it is very, very important, life path 8. You need to find your sense of balance of how you're handling the money that you guys are obtaining. Okay, so the life path 8 is usually a person who at a very young age may already feel quite confident, entitled, and usually has all eyes on them. So naturally, as they grow, they believe like they have to be someone. So it's so interesting. I have a little cousin who is a life path 8. She's only 4 years old, but the way she commands the room, the way she commands her attention is by, like, you know, dancing to her favorite song. But you all, like, all eyes are always fixated on her. That's a very dominant theme that's going to be happening in her life, or any life path 8 that's listening right now. You are always constantly going to be in the spotlight. You guys can often grasp money quite quickly, as well as lose money quite quickly. Money is just generally a constant theme in your life, just right off the bat. This is why I call you guys the money makers. And you may either want to be able to control it, or maybe you're in a way where you're like being wild about your lifestyle. But whatever it is, you can easily obtain money. You can easily obtain money, and you can lose it just as quickly. A lot of life path 8s tend to be a lot of life path 8s, especially like celebrities, may have gone bankrupt at some time, but also like you know, have made the money just as fast. You know, it's just one of those things. You often find that you have to stick up for yourself a lot. So there's a lot of, like, just generally speaking, I bet a lot of you growing up had issues with your friendships, issues in your family life. There's a lot of Capricorns who tend to be life path 8s. So a lot of them may have father issues, or butting heads with your father, or butting heads with somebody who was a father figure, or even like with somebody on your father's side. Like, I recognize that some of these things that go together, because you know I'm all about spiritual integration, so half the time I'm integrating astrology and numerology. I see that a lot with a lot of these life path 8s. A lot of you guys may just be butting heads with like a father figure. As much as you love them, it could be a thing where you just bump heads a lot. So just generally speaking, you've gone through a lot of like argumentative relationships in your life, so you do have that resilience, and it's for good reason, because when you have the resilience from all of these relationships and stuff, like, you just end up caring less and less about other people and their opinions and what they think of you, and that in turn actually puts you in the spotlight, because you don't care. When you don't care about how other people think of you, it's often those people that end up getting the spotlight, because you guys are the ones that dare to be, versus like other people are still thinking about what other people think. So it's actually a good thing that you've had this turbulence in your life, or you had this issue in your life, because that resilience is what makes you who you are and makes you that person in the spotlight. You can climb your way easily to the top, except that you won't really be climbing. You're kind of going to be like skipping steps. So for example, like for those of you who have that good relationship with money, because there are some of you who don't. So I'm going to say this. For those of you who do have that good relationship with money or whatever, when it comes to like getting into that position of authority, it's not going to take you quite long. Like, if you joined a company, let's say you just joined a company, you may have already filled out for a position that you have no experience in, and they're already going to take you there just because they think your aura, or the way you've written your CV, or whatever it is just going to take you to that position. They just trust you very easily. Maybe it's your demeanor, because, you know, life path 8s to me have a big presence about them. You can't miss their presence, right? Like I was talking about my little cousin, same thing. You cannot miss their presence. So I think just by your presence alone, people are just going to be like, you know what, this person, I feel like they can sort this thing out. So I'm gonna just let them go and you know, I'm just gonna put them in this position because I feel like they're gonna be able to do that. So that's what Life Path 8 is all about, kind of like skipping steps and getting to the good part, to the top position, you know. People can often think of you when an important task needs to be done. So I'm gonna say this much: yes, people can often think of you when things need to be done, when things need to be managed, when things need to be put in place, not necessarily because you're like the best at organizing things, but also because of the fact that if you are not the one managing, you will be micromanaging. So if you're not the boss in charge, it will be a thing where you'll be like, but did you think about this? What about this? Is this gonna happen? Is that gonna happen? Because I need this, that in place. And you will be acting like the boss even though you're not the boss. So you are often micromanaging other people, and maybe other people don't like it, but that's just a part of kind of like who you are, and you may need to work on that because you may step on people's toes and you don't want to do that. But oftentimes people will put you in those positions anyway just to stop you from micromanaging, because if they put you in charge, they know things will get done, but at the same time it's to your own detriment if something goes wrong, right? And then that way no one else gets the blame. But just remind yourself, if people are putting you in that position, ask yourself why. Is it because you're micromanaging, or is it because you're actually good at what you do? Think about it, because ego plays a big part in this life path, for sure. You're very well connected. Like, a lot of life path 8s have already met their favorite celebrity, or they've met a celebrity, or a celebrity has recognized them, or maybe you are the one to bring a celebrity to an event. For some reason, you guys are just bait. Now, this is me just speaking London talk, right? You guys are just bait, okay? You guys are just people know you, just generally. You may go places, or you may go to like events or whatever, and blah blah blah, and be like, where do I know you from? People just come to me like, where do I know you from? Because you've been everywhere, you've done everything. You could be people that travel, for example. Like, a lot of Sagittariuses are actually life path 8s. So I wouldn't be surprised if you traveled everywhere, and people from even like different cultures and stuff like that be like, where do I know you from? How do I know you? You could be in a position where you've been on TV, people may have seen you on TV, people be like, you're just well known. And it's a thing where you don't even have to present yourself in that particular way or in a particular manner. People just know you straight off the bat. And because you're seen and known and people are often looking at you, you have to find your way to, like, you have to find ways to manage your own spotlight. Because unfortunately, if you make mistakes, everybody knows about it. That's the thing about being Life Path 8. You are already just, you are seen. Regardless. If you want to be seen, you don't want to be seen, it doesn't matter. You are seen. So any type of mistake that you make is going to come up, right? Even if it's not directly for you to get the blame. So if your kid's doing something, if someone under your team is doing something, if your sister does something, if your brother does something, for some reason that all connects back to you. So I would say, like, your ethics have to be on point here. You need to be a person that you want to be, holy and true to yourself, and you know, justified by your own actions. You guys are very strong-willed and very much about your own opinions. Again, that's not necessarily the worst thing, but it can be a bad thing if you're not listening, obviously. But this is also the position that gets you into places. This is also the position that gets you through the door. This is what gets people to listen to you. This is why people look at you and think you are the manager. You are a person that can manage things. A lot of people nickname the Life Path 8 the manager too, which I totally get, because you are a person that's able to manage a lot of things and a lot of people as well. So just remind yourself, like, yes, you are strong-willed and strong opinionated. It's not necessarily the worst thing, but you do need to think about how you're speaking, all right? So you guys are meant to take challenges head on. Do what you want, provided that it's within the right ethics, you know, and have a good understanding of what it takes to be a good leader and a manager of things. Because if you do the wrong things for the wrong reasons, you'll get in those positions. But if you do the wrong things for the wrong reasons, and you're just doing it for the love of money and not for the love of what the thing is actually doing, this could get you into a bad state. And with that being said, I want to get into your biggest struggles and some of the solutions that can go along with that. You will constantly be learning through the power of money. With that being said, you may really struggle with addiction because you have the money to actually spend on the addiction. So a lot of Life Path 8s have addictions to sex, to food, to drugs, because they can actually fuel it. One of the other things I really want to talk about is gambling, because this is about money and the power of money, especially those life path 8s who haven't got a good concept of money, or who are in poverty right now. Those life path 8s may even struggle with gambling. Gambling is like a big addiction of yours if you're here, and it could be a huge theme in your life. This is a big one to work on. So you have to work on your heart chakra, because that's the chakra of desire. And if your desires are screwed up, if they're in a place where they are more about greed than they are about abundance and fulfillment of life, then you are going to go down a really, really big, large hole of depression, of not being fulfilled. And you may find yourself in rehab. You may find yourself in all of these weird positions. What you want is to have a good relationship with money. Working on the heart chakra does that. So that means you have to eat more greens. That means you have to wear more green. That means you have to meditate. That means you have to meditate a lot and think about that. That means you have to make boards. You have to do your affirmations. Whatever it is that you need to do to get that good relationship with money and fulfillment, do it, because otherwise you're going to be in the sense of addiction, and you don't want to be in the placement of addiction. You may have major family issues because people may need your money. You may hoard your money, or you may be secretive about your money. And there are moments where you need to ask yourself, are you being greedy or too aggressive? Or it's really important that you have a real, true spiritual connection in your life, because I understand that if you're the person who obtains the most money, that people may want and want and want, but you also need to have the balance of being able to share, because you know that money is always going to come to you, and also to be mindful of those who are taking advantage of the fact that you're giving. Particularly with family, it could be stupidly hard to like figure out who's taking advantage of your money, or knowing that they're taking advantage of your money but not wanting to stop it, because it's really difficult for you to face that. But you also need to kind of like put your foot down a little bit, especially with those who you know you're helping a bit too much. You may need to find a balance between helping someone but also not helping someone, and you know deep down in your heart what the right thing is to do. So again, this is a heart chakra issue. Also, again, I'm highly suggesting meditation. This is also a good time to work on your root chakra. There's quite a few chakras you need to work on life path 8s, and the reason is because, again, you're going to be put in these high positions, and when you're put in these high positions, it means that you are in charge of a lot of things, in charge of a lot of people, and it means that you need to work really hard in your spirituality, because you could get lost in all the spotlight nonsense. So working on your root, a stable foundation, a stable spiritual foundation that you have is so important, because when all is lost and you take money out of the equation, all you're going to have is the spiritual foundation that you have between you and whatever entity you pray to, or whatever it is that you believe in. You need to find that stable spiritual foundation, and also that helps you actually make very good logical decisions on what you need to do when it comes to using your money or giving your money away. I'm speaking about the life path 8s who have the money right now. I know there are life path 8s who don't have money right now, and I'm going to get into that. The life path 8s who are listening to this, who believe they don't have any money, this is just generally because you don't believe you can obtain it. That's it. You are destined to have it. You believe that money is filthy. You believe that money is evil. Money is just a necessity. That's all it is. But it's not evil. Money helps you relax. Money helps you go from A to B. Money helps you with your groceries. It's something that you have to have a good relationship with. And I think especially those life path 8s who have grown up poor, who have grown up in poverty, believe that it's so hard to obtain, and that's the reason why you have it. So go for the job that is of the highest position. Go for the, skip a few steps, because you can, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go for the impossibility, because guess what? Out of all the people in the world, you, my friend, can actually obtain that, but you're thinking that you can't, and that's what's not helping you. And again, this goes back to the heart chakra. It's green, money is green, so you can literally bully other people. Like, you could not be a team player. I know life path 8s who have been bullies, who are bullies still. You tend to be quite the harsh person sometimes. You need to think about how you're saying things and how you need to work on things, because let's say you are put in this position of authority at work or something, or a big event, and people are just going to look at you like a mean person. You could lose all your friends just by the way that you are, and by the way that you're talking, and by the way that you're using your words. You do not need to be like that. You need to work on your listening skills. And I would say try this exercise. Next time somebody's putting forward an idea, do not interrupt them. Like, let them talk all the way through and then have your opinion afterwards, and watch your tonality. So this is also a thing where you might have to work on the throat chakra too. Like I said, many chakras to work on, because you guys are in the power position. So they're like, you're in the position of power. So therefore, a lot of people are looking to you, and you have to think about that. You know, your ethics play a big part in this. The way you are plays a big part in this. So at this point in the video, this is where I like to go into like the famous people who are this life path. And the one I chose today is Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah was literally born a crime. That's the title of his book. If you guys, I haven't actually read it, but I know the backstory of it. And basically, Trevor Noah is born of a white father and a black mother. He was born during the apartheid in South Africa. And so him being born half black, half white was literally a crime in South Africa until 1 year after his birth. So you can imagine how his mother had to hide him. But just growing up, he talks about how poor he was. There's so many videos where he talks about his poverty growing up in South Africa, but also how much he was in the spotlight for being who he was. Nobody was really seeing half black, half white children, especially during apartheid in South Africa. Like, nobody was seeing that. He was completely different to everybody else. So that's what I mean by spotlight. You're already in the spotlight. He landed roles in South Africa, like acting roles and stuff like that, that got him into the position of, like, you know, scrapping acting and going into comedy. And what's interesting is that with the life path 8s in general, like, you could do multiple and many things. Dwayne Johnson is also a life path 8, and he went from wrestler to like acting. So it's the same kind of thing that Trevor Noah did. He went from acting, scrapped that, went into comedy. Then being a comedian from South Africa, whittles his way into America, and now has his own show in America. But that is exactly what a life path 8 is supposed to do. Trevor Noah is a good example of like what it's like to be born into poverty and turning your life around and obtaining money, power and position, and talk about important things and be, in a way, his own authority figure. Both paths, whether you're rich or poor, is about trying to find fulfillment through money. I would say if you're born into money, you're probably constantly trying to outshine the people who gave it to you. The struggle to find the balance between being yourself and trying to be somebody that somebody wants you to be is really difficult. But use your money in a way where it will help fulfill your ultimate desire and not the desire of somebody who gave you that money. So let me just remind you of what your purpose is. Your purpose, your divine mission, is to build financial abundance and to take control of situations with power and authority, but with a good sense of balance and ethic. You're not here to boss people around, but you are here to use your authority. But you're supposed to do it in a way where it is balanced, and that you don't feel exhausted, you don't feel like you're doing everything, and that other people are also taking accountability for what's going on around you. Ultimately, what you're teaching people is that you can make it, you can be in this big position, you can manifest this life. And also, you are learning constantly through your authority. Mind the way you speak, mind the way you interact with others, and remember your sense of ethics. You do not want to fall down the destructive line. Okay, Life Path 8, thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.